Everybody, this is the Grow Your Own Festival. It is on Saturday, October 7th from 10 to 4. The address is 715 North Tonapah Drive. It's at the Vegas Roots Garden.
Good morning. Now I'm going to give you the information on how we can end this. We end this with decisions. What we decide to eat, what we decide to spend our money on. Because when we decide to eat genetically modified food, we're not marching against Monsanto, we're marching with Monsanto. And where does that march take you? That march takes you to the doctor's office. That march takes you to a place of low energy, a place of food slavery. That march takes you to the grave. So what I do as a father, I choose every day to be the best version of myself possible. And what we need everyone here to do for the next generation and the generation after that is to be the best versions of yourself possible. And I know it's not easy. I heard every excuse on why we still eat GMOs, but what we need to do is take those can'ts and turn them into hows. I can't afford to eat organic. How can I afford to eat organic? It's too inconvenient to eat non-GMO. How can I make it more convenient to eat non-GMO? Because if you're eating GMOs today, I know it's a transition period. It's October 12th, 2013. Now, is there anyone here by October 2014 cannot be on a non-GMO diet? It's a commitment. It's making incremental changes to your subconscious mind to end this system, because it's a pyramid. We're holding the pyramid up. And when we step back and walk away from it, it comes down and it collapses because we hold all the power. Now, if you people are ready for this, I think I discovered the secret of the ages, how we can end this sooner than later. And it's with 3 words. If we all made the decision to collectively wake up every morning and look in the mirror and say these 3 words, we can end it sooner than later. I choose love. Because we're dealing with this system, this New World Order Monsanto control system is based on fear, it's based on hate, it's based on insecurity. Love and hate won't exist in the same place. Love and insecurity won't exist in the same place. Love and fear won't exist in the same place. When we choose to love, we beat the system on a conscious level of consciousness. We vibrate love, we choose to eat non-GMO, then it ends. It ends in our lives first, and that spreads out. And it ends for Monsanto, it ends for the FDA, it ends for the Obamas, it ends for the Bushes, it ends for all these secret societies, because it's more than just our food. So we need to be the change, as Robbie said. We need to take action, make decisions, be the best version of ourselves possible, and we need to choose love. Can I get everyone on 3? I want to hear everyone say, I choose love on 3. 1, 2, 3.
I choose love!
You people are awesome.
There you go.
I choose love.
That was Nick Brannigan from the Las Vegas March Against Monsanto back in October 2013. Very long time ago, which is where I met, same time frame that I met these beautiful people sitting in front of us today. And on that, I am Sam.
I'm Nathan.
I'm JR.
And this is Happy Earth Market Podcast. Today we have Grow Your Own Festival. Let's go around the table.
Hello.
What's your name?
My name is Anthony.
Hi.
Hi. One of the co-founders for Grow Your Own Festival.
Hi.
Hello.
And you are?
That was Farmer Anthony of Garden Farms. He's our local horticulturist. I'm Jody Page. I'm one of the founders of Grow Your Own Festival and the CCO, Chief Cheese Officer of Virgin Cheese.
Nice. Awesome. And?
Good morning. I'm Nicole Sliger.
Hi.
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 I just really like these people a lot. I like creating with them and doing good things with them.
Sweet. And that's why we're here. We're here to actually talk about this awesome thing that we have growing on in Las Vegas, called the Grow Your Own Festival. The reason I wanted to play this clip before our interview is just kind of to bring it back to the very roots of what this movement is and what brought about change in our society and our community specifically. That particular speech talked to me directly. That one, I choose love, and I wanted to change how we eat and what we're eating, and what are your guys' thoughts on the beginning of that movement and where we are now?
We're in a food revolution.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think us coming together and mounting one of the most successful marches per capita in the country with that first march against Monsanto in 2013 was the tip of the iceberg. It was the first time most of us marched, protested, or rallied against anything.
Yeah, totally.
And I know where I was just a year or two before that.
Right.
And the awakening of what the GMOs and the pesticides were doing to us brought us all together, brought us out into the streets. And that march, the movement of marching against a corporation that's hijacked the food system has now created conscious consumers.
Sure.
So I think we just felt, instead of continually being in the streets against something, we decided we wanted to be what we were for. So living in Las Vegas, that it's a sun belt, we really can grow year-round, but it's tricky because it's the Mojave Desert.
It's super hot.
It is. It's hot.
At that point, we had already done 4 successful marches, and the crowds kept growing, and awareness was spread, and really became a beautiful thing. So the natural evolution of it is to what Jody was saying. How long can you march against?
Yeah.
I understand, because I was there for sure. Like when you first find out, and you have to literally change up most of everything that you do.
Unlearn all of it.
And rethink, relearn thinking processes that go along the way with it, and how our parents were really on the right page, like the right track there. You grew food and you bartered, you know what I mean?
That's funny that you say that, because like even for we in the investigation of this show and just doing a little research this morning, like even during World War II and World War I, they had what Gardens for Victory. and
sure.
Yeah, and these people they grew like 60% of the home gardens grew 60% of the population's food during World War II and World War I. I just don't understand how we got away from something so beautiful.
Plastics.
Totally.
Yeah, because that also came from the war.
Convenience.
Nikki, what are your thoughts on it?
I have ulterior motives.
Okay.
One of the beautiful things that came out of those marches and working with our community was community.
Yeah,
for sure.
And yeah, sure, we're going to get together and we're going to plant some food, but the important thing to me is this back to basics, reuniting with my neighbors and friends and creating the life that we want that's so much different than what I was spoon-fed my entire life.
And what is right now.
Yeah, exactly. But don't tell anybody.
Well, we should stop recording right now then.
Secret.
It's over.
Show's over. Don't tell anybody. You were saying that what were you before that? Before you were vegan and before you were grow your own, before you were all that, were you just like the rest of us, just a normal consumer?
I don't know that I was ever a normal consumer, but I thought I was healthy. I mean, I've never been. I'm a real foodie. I was never a junk food person. I was spared soda pop. I never liked it, but I still, was shopping at Walmart and, buying that kind of meat for my family and eating that, and. I was vegetarian for 10 years, mid 80s and 90s in the grunge era in Seattle, but I think more and more, and also as you become enlightened and educated and aware, you do realize that you really are what you eat. When I was a kid, in the school system, in this classroom, there was one kid in the class that had asthma or allergies.
Yeah, we were talking about that recently.
One kid, one kid. And now it's what? It's half the
all
class.
of them.
It is all of them.
Do you think that stems from an overdiagnosis to prescribe drugs? Or do you think that is solely from our food? It's real?
I think our immune systems are failing us. All these things are autoimmune deficiencies and reactions to not only the GMOs, but the pesticides that are working in tandem against us. And who's benefiting from that? The pharmaceutical industry. And when you do the research and you find out who Monsanto and Bayer and who these companies are. I mean, not only did they invent DDT, and they invented the gas that was part of the World War II genocide for Nazi Germany. So it's like we wish it were science fiction. How deep the food system's been hijacked, and I think when we all were learning about GMOs and realizing that 80% of the processed food has this GMO corn and soy in it, and that's people. I mean, kids now eat from a box. So they can't identify vegetables. So this movement is really taking root with moms and who want their families to rise above this because we're sick of being sick.
Sick and tired of it.
Sick of being sick.
Well, I know, like, straight up. Well, Samantha, she lost 80 pounds going GMO free and becoming a vegan. A vegetarian, but let's be honest. My son was on 7 allergy medications. We moved first of all, we moved to another place where there wasn't as many allergenic plants that he was allergic to. But second, we cut out all his GMO diet, and within a year, babe, within a year, he was off all that medication, including his inhalers.
And it cost a lot more than organic food. I can tell you that. Those prescriptions were very expensive.
Through that process, did you guys remove dairy?
No, we never removed dairy.
Because my son had really bad asthma growing up. Like, they were giving him the emergency inhalers, and then they wanted him to inhale steroid puffer, right?
Yeah.
So that happened for maybe a month, and we started looking into it and found that dairy is a big player in asthma, lung function, and all that sort of stuff.
Wow.
I mean, dairy's never been, well, maybe for them, but for me, I can't even process it. Like, it hurts. So I don't eat a lot of I especially don't drink milk. So there wasn't a lot around, but
there was 70 to 80% of the world population is lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
I believe
We're just used to feeling bad.
Well, we're not.
That's funny.
We tended to drink other. Anyway.
Baby capsules.
It's pretty gross, actually, the whole idea of it. But
back to your original question, it's been a journey for me, for sure, and I kind of started on this purely selfish reasons, just health.
Okay, that's
just my own health, and I kind of wanted to be vegan before I even knew really what it was. So, but I found that the leaner and greener that I ate, the more that's what I craved.
And you felt better and the whole nine.
And
just goes with it.
And I'm a closet gardener. I mean, I didn't have my first homegrown tomato.
Said the grow your own festival lady.
Yeah, I'm a closet gardener. I didn't have my first homegrown tomato until I was 25 years old.
Wow.
Okay.
From a bush across the street in this
much younger
Seattle,
than mine.
Capitol Hill. And Seattle was making pesto at that time, and everybody was growing basil in buckets on their windowsill, and so that started the whole I'm growing basil
idea of
in
doing something your own.
Yeah. And I've had more and more, and I'm lazy. I don't want to go down to Trader Joe's all the time. I want to walk outside and pick it.
Right.
I love it. There's nothing. It's one of my favorite things in the world. There's like my motorcycle, my wife, and gardening. Like, it's great. I wish I did it more.
Yeah. No, our food system's changed more in the last 50 to 100 years than it has in the last 1,000.
That's true.
Well, that's very true.
Well, that brings me to the next question for some of our audience members. What can define organic? What does that mean?
It means no GMOs. It means no pesticides. Unfortunately, these manufacturing companies got involved in the regulation process, and there's a huge 3-inch stack of exceptions to this, so it gets a little sneaky. And in all honesty, when we eat organic food from the store, it's not even 100% organic. So, eliminating GMOs, eliminating pesticides, herbicides, the only way, and having clean soil too, clean water, all of these elements, the only way you know if that's happening is if you're doing it yourself.
Okay. So to define organic, that means
grow it yourself.
Growing it yourself.
Yes. But even so, is our water clean? Is the soil clean? The air that's raining down on us, is it clean? Honestly, 100% organic is impossible.
We wonder that a lot because our garden is basically right up against a golf course. And so I know that I am, for lack of a better word, reaping the benefits of their pesticides because I don't get bugs at my house. I don't have to worry about it. But the amount of pesticides and herbicides they're spraying on that golf course,
affect our
Yeah,
garden.
it affects our garden too in a bad way. So it's just like you can't hide from it, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's become an environmental factor, and this is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's reasons why mothers are walking around with glyphosate in their breast milk.
Yeah, that's crazy,
and
right?
all of us actually, we
Yeah.
all have trace amounts of it, whether you eat organically or the more you don't eat organically, the higher the levels are collected in your body. And I don't really know how to completely remove that from your body. I don't think most of these alternative.
What is it exactly?
Glyphosate, it is Roundup.
Roundup,
The
the bug,
weed killer.
the weed killer. Okay.
And this is one of many hundreds of them that are out there, but this is the most overused, most popular one. And like I said, you could just go into Home Depot and pick up a gallon of it because, hey, we got weeds, so let's spray this toxic concoction.
I hate it going to Lowe's and there's just like,
God.
especially right around fall, it's just that whole
Smell.
aisle of Roundup. I'm like,
And
no.
that smell.
It does stink.
Yeah.
Plastic mixed with chemicals.
Yeah, it's gnarly.
It's horrible. It definitely adversely affects your health for sure.
Yeah, there's no doubt, right? They can't argue with that.
Nope.
Yep.
It's just recently a judge considers it a carcinogenic that causes cancer in California.
And that was a big deal, right? Like the Monsanto and Bayer and all those companies tried to fight that ruling, right?
Yeah,
and tried to.
sure.
They really fought against it, if I remember correctly.
And it's not just California. The World Health Organization has
Right.
designated it a probable carcinogen. But it's not just a carcinogen. It's a hormone disruptor. It interferes with your gut health. And recent science is suggesting that our gut is like a second brain.
Sure.
So if you put that out of balance, I mean, think about all the things that are affected by just your gut health.
Right.
I mean, that's not even hard to figure out scientifically. If I eat like crap, I feel like crap. If I eat well, I feel well. Like, it's just, and I have an affinity to eat like an idiot. So,
Well, so with the whole Roundup lawsuit thing in California, did they end up labeling it?
Yes.
In the end, they did.
Yeah.
Okay, so so now Roundup does say may cause cancer if used.
Only the ones that are sold in
California.
Yeah. And now there's a class action lawsuit going against Monsanto for glyphosate. People who have been affected, the farm workers. Wow. Yeah, it's really gaining quite the momentum, like worldwide.
So correct me if I'm wrong though, but glyphosate, that's like the same kind of stuff they used for Agent Orange, right? Like, isn't they had that surplus of Agent Orange, and so now we need something else to do with it, and they started testing on pesticides just like at the end of World War II when they started. Am I wrong on that, or?
No, you're correct. It's some of the active ingredients in what's considered glyphosate nowadays contains the 2,4-D, which is a derivative of Agent Orange, which was created by the very same company, Monsanto.
To destroy the foliage and vegetation in the
to
forests of Vietnam so that the enemy couldn't hide. So it killed everything. And the herbicide glyphosate was merged with the corn and designed so that when the beetles ate corn, the beetles' stomachs would burst and they would die.
But it's totally safe for us to eat that, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
It only explodes bugs' bellies, not humans.
Well, isn't that like it's you're human, so you could take trace amounts and it won't hurt you? Isn't that like kind of their argument?
Perhaps, but when they're using that corn to make
everything,
corn oil, corn syrup, hydrogenated corn syrup, and it's in everything.
Well, the big deal, because most people aren't vegetarian, the big deal is that that's what their cattle and their birds are being fed.
Absolutely.
And so they're sick already, and so you're eating
already
sick meat, and so it's just a cyclical effect.
And it's recently come to light that they're using glyphosate to help dry crops.
Yes.
Even organic crops can have glyphosate poured on it, and it's an antifungal.
Oh, okay.
So it helps to quickly dry the crops and keep it from growing fungus
before harvest.
Yeah. And so that's organic wheat that has that.
That's what the big controversy is about the whole gluten-free craze. People are most likely not allergic to wheat. We've been eating bread and wheat forever, civilization, but they're intolerant to the Roundup, the glyphosate that's being sprayed on it. So some people are getting off gluten and then reintroducing organic breads and not having the same reactions.
I've had friends that have visited Italy and they go to Italy and eat pasta and eat it and fine, and there are no problems whatsoever, and come back here and try again and it just makes them sick.
Yeah, I heard the same thing.
Yeah.
because it's organic over there.
My wife is a testament to that very fact because she was developing all of a sudden a gluten intolerance going back about 5 or 6 years when we first really started looking into things.
Mm-hmm.
And we completely removed. I was a little radical about everything because I just wanted to be safe across the board. So
Was this during like the March time too?
It was right leading up to the first March,
Okay.
like 7-8 months before that. Removed wheat altogether. We went gluten free, and I mean, we eat a lot of pasta and stuff like that. I've grown up traditionally Italian like that, and my wife loves it. We removed everything, replaced it with organic, like brown rice and brown rice pastas for about 2 months, and then reintroduced organic wheat, and she hasn't had a problem since.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And if more people see, this is why I'm glad we're doing this show with you guys, because I think the more people that hear the stories, even though everybody knows organic and GMO, they've heard it, at least they know what it means, but they don't truly know what that means because they're not empathetic to the stories, and they don't even understand that the sufferings that are going through are caused by this stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited you guys are here to talk about this, to hopefully get our audience a little bit more aware of what is going on, because I do believe that we have made an impact. And
Absolutely.
This Grow Your Own Festival, I'm excited. Let's talk about that.
Well, when we first did the first March, it wasn't a household term yet.
No, it wasn't. No.
And now it is.
Yeah.
And so
it's amazing. 7-Eleven carries their own organic products now.
It's unbelievable.
Like their store brand does, and that
Sure.
it's cool. It's really
I
cool.
think the next phase is just making it affordable to people, and I love that Amazon has taken over Whole Foods, and the first thing he did was slash prices.
Right.
Yeah.
If we can make organics
That's
more
incredible.
affordable to people, I'm sure that it will shift even further.
It'll just take over the market.
Yes, hopefully.
That's
That's
the plan.
Yeah.
Anthony, I was kind of scrolling. I trolled your page a little bit on Facebook, and I saw a picture of the Grow Your Own proclamation. Grow Your Own Food Day proclamation.
Oh, yeah.
What was that? What is that?
That was the very first one we did at the end of the last March Against Monsanto at the bus station downtown.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, and we asked the mayor's office for the day, and they granted it.
They granted it.
That's
that was
amazing.
Cool.
That's really cool. And so we're doing this Grow Your Own Festival? It's in October.
We're mounting our second year on Saturday, October 7th at Vegas Roots Community Garden. And last year, 2,000 people showed up, and this year we're expecting 4,000 to 5,000.
Were you expecting 2,000 people last year?
We
didn't
really
know what to
not,
expect.
No.
No.
So that was an awesome surprise then.
It was.
Yes.
Like, no way.
Well, we knew that Las Vegas boasts the largest outdoor garden classroom movement in the country.
Is that right?
And our partner Garden Farms, who Anthony is one of their urban farmers,
Nice.
they're responsible. They've implemented those gardens. So what was happening here in Vegas was there was a meeting of the Las Vegas green community, and they were meeting up. I never could attend, but I was reading the meeting minutes and following along, and my background's as a production stage manager, so I was taking all of this in, all this concept-driven programming. They were goals they had, and having done the marches and where we were at and learning about the rise of the outdoor garden classroom movement here, it was just, we need to turn
Hand
this
in
into
hand.
Grow Your Own Festival.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, it'll be the forum for all of the goals this group wants to do, and it will be forward momentum, and it harnesses it. It takes the kids' parents and teaches them how to grow.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
that it's full cycle.
It's all inclusive. This way, mothers that might be apprehensive to bring their kids to like a protest, what they consider a protest or a march, now it's more inclusive. So I think it'll reach a
Broader
audience
Well,
for sure.
We've tried activism on a lot of levels, and we still love it. But we are of the mindset now that if we can just change our community and start pushing towards a community that we want to see, that's going to change more than jumping in the streets. You know what I mean? That's why we're starting the store. We're getting ready to open up. That's why we're here with you guys. I just think that's a more effective way to affect change.
Agreed.
And it's inclusive and empowering. We're empowering our neighbors. I mean, we grow food, we share food,
Absolutely.
It's community, back to community.
We had this very conversation with our best friends are from Seattle. He goes, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to all my neighbors, and I'm going to say, hey, you grow this, you grow that. He had a neighbor meeting, and now his whole cul-de-sac grows food together. He does like the aquaponics, and him and his daughters are really into the aquaponics. And then everybody else just kind of grows something, and then the whole neighborhood shares it, and it's just beautiful. That's the change we need to see.
That's what's up. Yeah,
that's cool.
That's the real homeland security.
Seriously, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That is the real homeland security. That's.
Yeah.
I think America's really lost its way as a community where we're just factions of people who stare glaringly at each other across Facebook. Like, chill out.
Consumers.
Yeah, it's weird.
Consumerism. Yeah. I wanted to get back to the school gardens real quick because I was.
Reel it in.
Yeah, I was doing some research on it, and I thought some of the stuff I read was kind of interesting, so I'd like to share. School gardens lead to increased veggie consumption and a variety of veggies eaten. Do you guys agree with that?
Absolutely.
Have you seen it firsthand, little kids?
Yeah, I'll have a class come out while I'm in the garden there, and to first of all to see the shift that goes on throughout the year, where at first they're afraid to touch the ground or the soil because it's dirty, and they're like, hey, what's that? They'll look at a beet, the greens of the beet, and ask me if it's like broccoli. I'm like, no. So if you have a kid, if you engage a child and you have them plant the seed, you tell them what it is, we label it, we put popsicle sticks in, the date and all that good stuff so that they can see it. They come out every so often. And if the kid participated in growing that, they will almost every single time eat it.
Just
like
see,
that.
Just to
And
see
the
what
parents,
it is.
Yep. Just because they took place in like seeing it come about altogether, you know. And I've had parents say, my kids hate vegetables, but they eat these carrots. Like you pull a carrot out, tell them to go wash it, or the teacher will wash it. And the kid's munching away, saying, oh, this is so good. And the parents are like, who are you? Carrots out of the ground?
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's very cool to see.
That sounds really cool.
I have stories about a beet.
Oh?
We were at the Vegas Roots Community Garden, and someone pulled up this enormous beet, and it was bigger than a softball. It was just huge, and it had all its plumage on it. It was really beautiful, and I was just going to take it home and eat it and share it with my rabbits. My aunt was with us, and she's a second grade teacher, and she walks over, and she just grabs it out of my hand. She said, thank you. Okay. So she took it to her classroom to show her kids, and no one knew what it was. No idea what it was. And so she showed it to them, let them touch it and feel it, and then she went and cut it up, and she said every one of her kids tasted it. They may not have liked it, but they all tasted it. And they were so excited to see where food came from.
Wow.
It's like one beet.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did about 4 chef demos last year before the festival at various schools, and I would start by, lining all the kids up, and we'd march out to their garden. And I was always leading the pack, and we were marching, and I'm like, what's the difference between garden club and fight club? You tell everybody about garden club.
That is adorable.
Bruschetta. And come back, we'd pull all this arugula, or I'd bring arugula, I'd bring all these different greens, because I always sneak in the spinach and the chard and kale into this salad green bruschetta that I make. It's so easy. I mean, it's just chop, splash olive oil, splash of balsamic, fresh pressed garlic, pink salt, but arugula and chopped tomatoes are the main flavor. And you just put it on toast or crackers, and it's salad on toast.
Sounds
but
yummy.
they love it. Oh, here, kids, here's your salad on toast, bruschetta. So yeah, that was they were into it. They were into it. But yeah, of course, you get them involved in this process of growing their own food instead of opening a box. It's like a whole new world.
Whole different thing to it. The other thing it says on here is it helps to increase fitness levels. What do they mean by that exactly? I wonder. Raking and stuff? I mean, how would it...
Oh, doing the physical work in the garden?
I mean, is
sure.
it seriously physical work doing
Yeah, sure. I mean, especially if you're getting ready to, if you're tilling up the soil, if you're adding fertilizer or compost back into the soil, pulling weeds. Some of the weeds grow deep roots, and you need to put a little... Put your back into it,
And there's no iPods involved.
Right, that's the beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Keeping your hands in fresh organic soil actually boosts serotonin levels in your brain. It's just a natural interaction that happens between people and soil and earth.
The earth, yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
And that's been scientifically proven too.
Yeah. Well,
No, yeah, I agree.
science, though.
Science.
Who believes in that? What? Children who participate in school gardens score significantly higher in science achievement, higher on standardized tests in math, reading, writing, listening skills. Teaches about food, nutrition, health, science, horticulture, and cooking. All very positive things. How many school gardens do we have in Clark County? Do you guys know?
I thought County was 150. Is it more now?
It's right under 150.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
There's like 300 schools. That's half
Yeah,
our schools.
that's
And
crazy.
growing, and
That's
growing.
cool.
That's not even including the residential.
And I was pretty
Wow.
excited. My daughter brought home the packet for, those silly fundraisers they do with all the GMO crap.
Mm-hmm.
But the fundraiser was for their school garden.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So they're
Cool.
selling GMO candy for their school garden.
Yeah.
For their
And, I called them at Sam's urging. I'm like, it'd be really nice if there was at least one organic option on here. Maybe, they got 2 vegan options. Oh, yeah, we don't have that. But it'd be really nice if you had. I could have sold more. Oh, yeah, we don't have that. So I guess I'll have to go see them.
I'm amazed because I've dealt with Clark County schools, my son being there, that whoever did all this work to get the gardens in the schools, God bless them, because there's such an insurmountable, painful bureaucracy to deal with that I'm so happy that it got done.
In the beginning, they couldn't even bring the produce into the cafeteria.
Exactly.
Because of the contract with the food contractor. So
And
now
hid
that's
it,
starting
and
to
hid
change.
it underneath the word E. coli or something like that, so the public wouldn't.
I think they just said no, it's not under contract, right?
Yeah, but I think that's starting to change, and we're making some progress with that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
There are certain principles of just standing up and actually bringing in the produce into there, incorporating it into like a salad bar once a month or something like that.
That's great.
Yeah, because believe it or not, since I'm working for Garden Farms, you realize how much food waste goes on
At school.
just in general,
Yeah.
because they're not allowed to take it in. So a lot of the staff will take it home and stuff like that, and then other times it goes just
Straight to the
But
dumpster.
doing that, they're
Garbage.
breaking the rules, and they could get in a lot of trouble for it. My aunt, she's not in the school district anymore, so I can talk about this. But she had in cahoots with the janitor at the school, and he would load up literally big garbage bags full of food and stash it for her until after school. She'd bring it home, and she had a big deep freezer. We would take that and redistribute it to the homeless people,
Oh, that's awesome.
and
That's cool.
tons of food.
Otherwise, it just goes in the dumpster.
Yeah, and so
Well, they've
someone
started,
told on her, and then we couldn't do it anymore.
They've started doing some farmers markets, though. Our other partner, Zappos, helped Green Our Planet mount with a lot of the schools. They did a big farmers market.
for it. That's
yeah,
awesome.
they're going to do another one in the fall, too. So.
That's great. I can't believe they can grow enough food to sell in a farmer's market. That's incredible.
Yeah.
one of my schools, and this is just because of the garden. It's always been it's situated properly for the sun, and it
It
thrives.
works.
My one school garden, they made ate over close to $900
Nice.
one day. Yeah,
Wow.
that's what I said. I was like, that's
Wow.
awesome, man.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's incredible.
And speaking of school programs, I was pretty impressed with Chloe's school because they actually have this nutrition panel that, of course, I'm going to work on being a part of. And they say specifically, hey, for the kids' snacks, make sure you bring fruits or vegetables.
Nice.
I
That's
was
cool.
amazed by that.
That's
And
really cool.
even their school program has fruits and vegetables, not just the saucy, whatever,
Right.
peachy thing, whatever. She had beans with her meal the
Wow.
other day. Yeah.
That's really cool. When I was a kid, there was a lunch lady, and she made lunch. Like, what happened to that?
Yeah.
Corporation.
Corporation. Boiling a bag meal.
Well, the new paradigm looks a lot like the old one. Grow your own.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So grow your own. Obviously, it's about growing your own food.
Yes.
What else is it about?
We have a lot of the garden farmers, but other horticulturists in the community doing gardening workshops. So there's something for everybody, and they're going to run in the morning and repeat in the afternoon. We've got how to garden in Las Vegas, beds, buckets, or towers. So to help people decide what would be best for where their living situation.
Very cool.
Gardening with your kids, growing garden towers, hydro and aquaponics, fruit and nut trees in the desert, because you actually can grow a lot of stone fruits here. People don't know. You can grow peaches and
almonds, peaches, nectarines, figs, apples, all citrus,
Apricots.
apricots.
I have an amazing fig
I'm
tree.
so hungry.
Herb gardens galore from Dr. Q from Star Nursery, one of our other partners. Composting 101, do's, don'ts, worms, and whatnot.
Oh, I'm really interested in that one.
Tara Pike Nordstrom from 702 Farms and UNLV Rebel Recycling.
Nice.
She'll be leading that one. So they're all going to run in the morning and repeat in the afternoon.
Very cool.
We've got like homegrown music happening on our main stage.
So just for people who understand, when they come to these booths and they're doing this presentation on a tower garden, what is that going to feel like and look like to them?
They're going to be demonstrations.
Okay.
Maybe not so much hands-on workshops, but free demonstrations. The instructors are going to be responding to Q&As,
Okay.
giving people the tools of what they need. There's, the basics of being able to be a successful gardener. One is like, how many plants have you killed?
Right.
Okay, so
I'm a pretty good gardener then.
these guys, these instructors have been through it. So here in the Mojave, being able to thrive and grow your own food here in the Mojave, you've got to know what to plant when. Okay, so
That's the trick.
people get all excited about spring, and before you know it, we're in 100 degrees
It's too late.
temperature.
Yeah.
So fall is actually the prolific planting season. All your greens, all your salad greens, all different kinds of romaines, cilantro and dill and broccoli and cauliflower and all your kale, and you can just pick a salad with 10, 20 different things in it.
So we should be planting
all
like
winter
the end of
long.
September, like first part of October, or now?
Right now, depending on
It's
what
so
it is.
hot.
I know, but by the time, like as soon as it's September,
Yeah.
you want to have in like if you're growing from seed or you're gonna do transplants. There's different timelines. Right now, if you're going from seed, you could start your broccoli, your carrots. You could do onions, garlic, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts.
Wow.
You're like listing all of them.
All of your leafy greens, your spinach, chard,
Wait on the spinach
lettuce.
a little bit.
So
Wait on the spinach.
It
a little
depends.
bit.
There's more of the heat tolerant spinaches that you can
Yeah.
put in right now because it does grow very quickly.
But the one secret word to be able to grow here,
Mm-hmm.
mulch. You have to mulch.
To retain the water.
Mulch.
Mhm.
Mulch.
It is very useful. It also protects from the cold. But going back to what Jody was saying about the workshops here, another thing about it, why it's unique for Vegas is because it's like geared towards growing in Vegas. Like you could take these tips and sort of apply them everywhere, but this is designed to grow here.
Specifically
Sure.
Yeah,
for
that's what the
Vegas.
workshops are, because everyone is growing out in this community, so
Right.
they know what to do and what not to do, when to do it and what not to do it.
Cool.
Our general store, our merch booth general store at the festival this year is going to have bulk organic seeds for sale too.
Oh,
For the fall.
that's
do
really
you
cool.
guys suggest seedlings or seeds? Do you suggest transplants or
It de-
seeds?
I do both.
Do you?
I do.
I do too.
I do a lot of seed, and I'll do some starts too. And it really just depends on your level of comfortability and how much space you have and what kind of sun you get.
I get so impatient with seed though. Like
Yeah.
it comes up like, oh, it's ready to go on the ground, but it's not even close to ready to go.
Right.
Unless I started it there.
Mm-hmm.
But
Like for stuff I eat a lot, like I crave spinach
Mhm.
and I crave romaine and stuff like that. So I do it by seed because I want a lot
Just
of it.
because you
Yeah.
want it.
Yeah, I want a lot of it. But like I'll do broccoli starts. But I think I'm going to try seed this year too.
Yeah, you
Cool.
could get them in now. I started spreading them around now. And then the transplants you could do towards the end of September.
Yeah.
Same difference. You're just starting them
Moving it a
yourselves
little bit
rather than buying a start.
Sure.
yeah.
Our other partner, Wonder Soil, they upcycle coconut product from the blossoming coconut industry,
Mm-hmm.
and coconut milk, coconut oil, coconut. So they're processing the outer shell, and it makes a soil that rehydrates, and it's really does help keep in the water. So you can
How does it
germinate
do that?
seeds.
Is it more airy
It's magic.
inside there and just holds the water in more, or
The coconut magic.
more spongy soil?
It's
Is
the
that what it
coconut
is?
magic.
It's more spongy kind of soil.
It kind of feels that way, yeah.
Yeah. But it
definitely
germinates
absorbs.
seeds in like 3 days.
What?
Yeah, no, it's super quick. That's
So it's like the
fun
Miracle
part
Grow
about
for
it.
people who don't want to use Miracle
Chemicals.
Grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try this Wonder Soil stuff, and they have a plant that's right near Town Square.
Were they there last year?
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. Yeah, it can help you germinate in like 3 days. It's amazing.
Do they sell in the normal nurseries? Do you have to order it
I don't
online?
know that
Well, maybe are we going to be able to buy it at the festival? Are they going to have some for sale there?
they're deciding if they can or cannot make the actual festival, but we'll
Oh.
have some on site. We'll have
Okay.
their information anyway.
Cool.
But you can go online and find out where they are and just go to their place. It's near Town Square.
Awesome.
At least flyers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it grows like 3 times its original weight
It's
and
like
size.
seven
Is it?
times,
It's pretty
Wow.
impressive. We did First Friday last year, and we had like a big container there, and you just put about a third of soil in there, and then you add water slowly and keep mixing it up, and it just like expands. Like, do you ever see those compressed sponges
Wow,
back in
yeah.
the day?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that, except it's loose soil.
So is it meant to be used as an additive or as the soil?
I think it's great for starts for
Mhm.
sure, and I personally would incorporate it into soil because the more
Nutrients.
Yeah, exactly. The healthier your soil is, what more well-rounded, and but they say you can use it straight up, right? Yeah,
That's
for
cool.
sure.
That's cool. So you guys all grow food at your own homes, obviously. What do you grow?
Food.
That's it.
Everything.
No, right now, honestly, I could go real quick. I got pepperoncinis growing. I have poblanos. I have bell peppers. I have cherry peppers and some jalapenos. I have about 4 eggplant plants, garlic, onion, chives. I have zucchini, garlic coming up.
If anybody could see you, you're like I could see you visualizing
Going
your
through
entire
the-
yard,
yeah.
going around the whole perimeter of it.
And I have 2 big stalks of kale that won't quit. And I keep using it and trimming it, and it keeps growing. It's thriving. It's doing
crazy.
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, and a few tomatoes that I'm waiting. I cut them back so that now when it cools down a little bit, they'll come back and you get a bumper crop up until it's like 45 at night.
So do you grow enough to actually feed the household
Um,
consistently, or I mean, how does that go?
This year I did things differently, than I normally do. Last year I had better productivity through the winter. This spring crop that I put in for now, I kind of some things I purposely put in late to see how it would react, because I like to experiment, because some things ultimately thrive a lot longer than you think. And I could see the eggplant that I put in after a couple of weeks, by even 2 weeks later than when I put in these other 2 that I had, are doing so much less.
Oh,
Just growing very slowly, and I'm like, it's only 2 weeks,
wow.
They don't even
that
have
much of a difference.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's just the weather. I equate it to like riding a wave in at the beach, where it's effortless if you hit the wave right.
Right.
But if you're a little ahead of it, you kind of get knocked around, or if you're behind it, you're
Miss
just
it.
behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just in this town, you got to find,
The sweet
The
spot.
happy medium.
yeah, the weeks. There's just a window of opportunity to actually plant, and if you do, it takes care of
Yeah,
itself.
we did great this year. I was so excited. Just gigantic tomato plants and just huge plants. And then we had this huge windstorm and it destroyed everything.
Yeah.
I had corn. Corn.
Me too. It's awesome. Did you get any ears?
Nope. Well, it started.
Mhm.
It started. We're like, oh, it's right there. We're gonna be able to eat it.
You
And
can see
then
it.
we had this windstorm. It banged it against it just destroyed everything.
That's crazy. I know. I've had plenty of plants snap just because of the wind.
Mm-hmm.
So what about you, Jody? How much food do you grow, and is it enough to feed your household?
Well, there's only a few lemons on the tree because of that same wind that took out your corn this year. Depends on the year, but mostly throughout the fall and winter, I don't buy any greens. I
Nice.
usually am able to get. I have a cul-de-sac lot, so it's like a U shape, and I got it for that purpose. I was
Just so
like,
you could have a
we
huge
could
yard.
grow, yeah. So I've got 3 beds now, 2 main ones, and the third one is the last one to be incorporated. But I always have arugula going, even though it's a winter crop. I try to keep it going because I crave it. But I'll plant all different kinds of salad greens and romaines, and more arugula and cilantro and dill. I've got garlic chive. I've got asparagus. That is like you only plant once. Asparagus is a perennial that keeps on going.
I didn't know
That
that.
is really
Yeah.
cool, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes you a couple years before you get your first crop. But
Yeah.
But it goes.
Yum.
So like 3 years, but I've got an artichoke plant that I let go to flower because I love how they look. I've never picked them to eat them because I just love how they look. I've got a fennel that gets enormous, and it's just great for Thanksgiving time and roasting vegetables. And right now, the whole thing's carpeted in basil seedlings because I'm planning to make pesto for the Grow Your Own Festival with the Virgin Cheese booth. So I've got nothing but basil right now. But, it's like Anthony, I've just tried different stuff at different times, and some years are better than others, and it depends on how much time you can nurture
put
your
into
garden. Yeah, but I'll tell you, there's walking outside and picking it, and making a bouquet, or taking a bouquet to somebody. Instead of going buying some flowers, make this beautiful bouquet of greens you just picked from your garden.
Nice.
Yeah, last year we were able to harvest enough of a basket to give to my neighbors. I was like a little kid taking a present. There you go.
It's
great, right?
Yeah, it was so great.
What about you, Nikki? What you got growing with Chloe?
It's a pretty rough year on my garden. I got a whole lot of things that just need to be pulled up and start over. Tomatoes did really well for me this year. I'm getting 0 pomegranates because of that same wind. I got lots of tangerines and lemons getting ready to get ripe. But besides that, it's been a rough year between bugs and wind and heat. And I think that is another really important aspect of having a gardening community that you can refer to, so that when things go wrong, you can say, dude, what did I do? I had some bugs on my plants this year that were really scary looking, but I was able to go to one of the Facebook gardening community pages, like, do I kill this bug or what? And they're like, no, he's a good one, leave him alone. And so yeah, it's nice to have the community and learn from the community. And Jody gave me some of those basil seeds that she was talking about, and they were in my lunchbox, and I forgot about them, and they ended up going through my wash. And every item of clothing that I have has, because they turn out, they get like basil seed or chia seeds, they get gelatinous. So they're all my clothes.
Gross.
All of my clothes.
Sounds gross.
But some did make it into the garden, so I've got nice basil coming up now too.
I think you just buried your shirt. Maybe it would have just grown.
Right. Yeah. Well, it was pretty humid there. I was afraid we were going to start growing on our clothes.
Chia.
It's funny. You mentioned arugula. Samantha has a raised lettuce bed that she just constantly makes salads out of, and the arugula just started growing.
A
wild one, and it's just been growing for it does great. It just keeps going up the fence with this. We have another a vine that grows in that fence, and it grows right with it. It's hilarious. It just
cool.
Yeah, I love
it is cool, and obviously it's not one that we eat.
No,
it's like in the sagebrush where all the bees and hummingbirds are hanging out.
It's a volunteer came up on its own.
Yeah, it's just kind of hanging out. But I think the rabbits like it, so it keeps the rabbits out of my garden.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a really hard thing to do, is to keep the critters out, like keeping the bugs out without pesticides, and keeping the critters out without killing them. And it takes a lot of patience and time in figuring out what to plant. Like we plant a lot of mint, around to keep. We have a lot of rabbits, and the rabbits won't come near that stuff.
Mice.
So
really,
mice won't come near the mint either.
How about citrus? Have you guys ever tried citrus peels? From orange, lemon, lime. You put them around in your garden, and it keeps out like rabbits and cats. Because for some reason in this town, cats are in garden beds. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
And then they just kind of dig out where they want, and then they lay in the cool soil, I guess, is the idea. But the citrus rinds, the peels, keep them out.
We will try that.
Yeah, and then once they dry up, just get new ones. And
cool.
Yeah, that works.
Or just bury them.
Marigolds are a great pest deterrent. Garlic, onions.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Garlic and onions too, huh?
Yeah, plant them around things like basil, tomatoes, eggplants, things where little critters like to come.
Munch.
Cabbage worms, hornworms, those kinds of guys.
Last year, you guys at the Grow Your Own Festival had somebody talking about native plants and things that you can use as bug deterrents and critter deterrents. And that it was really interesting and inspiring, actually, to look more into it and figure out ways of living and coexisting with my bugs and my
permaculture.
And my little critter friends, because they are part of the ecosystem that I need.
And
Samantha's
for my garden
ants. To grow. So yeah, my ants.
Samantha's ants.
I love my ants.
Our family gets like, can you just get rid of these ants? No, sorry, they're cleaning the garden. There's nothing you can do.
They
Get over it, man.
Yeah.
Well, Anthony's got a great recipe as a garden and garlic and onion recipe that you can spray for bugs.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like a natural pesticide that you would actually
cool.
topically spray out of a bottle. That works really well.
Just keeps them out.
She actually used an essential oil that the ants don't like to line our patio set, so that the ants go around it, but we don't bother
They won't
them.
cross the line.
They won't.
It's oil, so they can't.
Yeah.
It totally
know.
works, but
So
essential
Cinnamon
oils
works too, right?
Cinnamon? I don't know. I haven't tried that. Orange-
Cinnamon will work for ants.
He hates the smell of cinnamon, though, so I can't.
No cinnamon.
I won't even go there.
No Fireball, no cinnamon gum, none of it.
What about diatomaceous earth?
Yeah, that works. It's so, like, the particulate matter gets stuck in your lungs and it kind of doesn't come out. So I try to not, like
That
the
sounds
powder
scary.
form of it,
Yeah.
It does work. It is effective for keeping pests away and out. But it's great for tree borers, that go in and it's good. You make a solution of that and you actually apply it to where they bored into the trunk and around at the root base, and it will kill what's in there, and you will be able to get your tree back to a healthier state for sure. It has its places, I stay away from it because the particulate matter is very, very fine, and it doesn't really come out of your lungs. Yeah, there's like a warning on it.
Don't inhale.
I've never even heard of it before.
You're supposed to, you can mix it in with water and apply it that way, but at some point you're getting it in a dry form.
Sure. Wow.
For doing it all the time, I'd rather not.
I'd rather not. Yeah.
Seriously.
I really enjoy the aspect of trying to garden completely natural as I possibly can. I just love it.
I feel you there. Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna fail a lot. Like people, really, you're gonna fail constantly.
Yeah.
And even that, I
absolutely.
was listening to that tomato lady. She was saying, "You're just gonna fail all the time." Like, I'm only a good gardener now because I've been failing for 30 years.
It's the truth. That's how you learn everything though in life. Is just through trial and error.
And it was a humid season this year.
It really was.
People had bugs in their gardens they've never really had because it's been so moist. I mean, I even think there were chiggers.
Oh, people had chiggers? Really? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, it
From
sounds
like
scary.
my partner knows what those are because he's from Florida.
Right.
And I'm
I
like,
just know they bite.
Actually, I believe that they burrow into.
or no-see-ums.
skin.
No-see-ums. Yeah.
See-ums.
Right,
Ew.
no-see-ums.
That's even worse than biting.
Right. Living here in the Mojave Desert for
Wow.
12 years, and I've never experienced that until this last summer, because it
was a wet
got so
winter,
much water.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We've had Palo Verde beetles in our yard. I've lived there 9 years, never seen them. They're huge and they're scary and they chase you.
Really?
Yeah. My cats thought it was really fun to bring them into the house and terrify me with them.
Cats are great.
Yeah.
Zen masters.
Look what I brought.
Definitely. What was the most common misconception from some of the people that visited the festival last year? Do you guys remember? And what was the most common question that?
I think people mostly get confused about what they can plant when. I think
The
it's
types.
really tricky, yeah.
Mhm.
Because people do, they get very excited about the spring, and of course if you go to go to buy plants, you can buy anything at almost any time. So to be successful, you really need to understand the planting charts here for the Mojave. It's key.
It's kind of confusing because when normal Joe Blows like me and Nate go to a gardening center, like just the regular throw up ones, they have all these different varieties of plants
And soil.
like all of them. They have all the plants you could possibly. Is that really conducive to our environment though here, or is that just something they're stocking on their shelves?
Yes and no. I mean, when stuff says full sun, that's not necessarily for the desert.
Doesn't mean Las
Right.
Vegas falls.
Right.
Right.
Because check the zone, and find out what zone Las Vegas is 9, right? That means everything. Like on the back of if you're buying a transplant, it should tell you what which
What zone.
zones. Yeah, what zones for sun, for watering. It depends on what you're buying, but it's best to know your zone and what grows and thrives. And we're I see that up on the Grow Your Own Facebook page. There's planting guides, right?
Oh, I actually printed it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's perfect. That's what we need here, right?
Yeah.
And amending the soil.
Mhm.
You have to
Absolutely.
amend the soil here.
Definitely.
And if you're not going to amend, then use buckets or do raised beds and add your own soil, and don't scrimp on the soil. I tried I've had some pretty successful gardens here with mostly composted horse manure. A little bit of bagged soil, but mostly composted horse manure from I've had the same horse for 22 years, and she has some friends, Calico Basin. But you don't scrimp on the soil. And I mean, it's a process. You know, you can use the same soil bed for, a few seasons, and organic matter, and nurturing your soil. You sow what you reap. You reap what you sow.
Right.
You put it in and take it out.
Compost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
compost.
And
Sure,
I'll
that's
tell you,
that.
since I started saving my kitchen scraps and composting at home, I only put out garbage once every 2 weeks.
That's funny you say
in my
that.
house.
Like our recycle bin goes out almost every week, but
Yeah.
the trash can itself, like it's 3 weeks sometimes.
Yeah. And it can take a really long time here to break down.
Yeah.
So you don't get a lot out of it, but it certainly reduces your waste.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think one of the things I heard from people is that they were just surprised at how much we can actually grow here.
I was. Citrus I thought would never grow here. Never in my life. I know a guy that has a 25-foot lemon plant. It's gigantic, growing up all around the back of his house. It's the most amazing thing you ever seen. He gets lemons the size of a baseball. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's crazy. I never thought I'd see that. And I grew up in Southern California where you could, throw a seed in the ground and it would grow. I grew up in the orange groves, and I never thought you'd grow. This is way too dry to grow citrus, but it grows just fine.
Yeah, it does. Oranges too. Pomegranate does great
Yeah.
here. Almonds do really well here.
Cherry tomatoes do amazing.
Cherry
Figs.
tomatoes are great.
Figs.
Figs, really?
Amazing.
Oh.
Yeah, figs are great here.
I have a fig tree in our backyard. It was probably put in the mid-'70s, but it gets like 3 crops
Oh, wow.
a season, and starts on Memorial Day weekend, like clockwork.
So how big is the harvest on that? Like, how much food does that produce each time you're...
Oh, I've got bags and bags of it in the
Oh,
freezer,
wow.
so
That is so
poundage.
Poundage.
And I rinse it and chop it and throw it in the freezer, and then it's
Nice.
for smoothies, or you can make jams or chutneys, or
And you grow it in your backyard.
it's
That
just
is
growing
what it's
there.
about.
It
That's what
is.
it's about,
It
everybody.
is.
I've heard
Yep.
you can harvest
So cool.
apricots twice a year here too.
Here too, yeah.
Wow.
Because we have such a long season.
Yep. I think like trees especially, I think they take a couple years to they really need to get adapted and dig in, and once they do, I think they just go crazy.
Yeah.
If you can get them to survive.
Right.
It took me 4 years on my citrus trees.
Right. We just got our first apple tree. We'll see what happens.
Steve Jobs, I named him.
It's also about making a microclimate in your backyard. Like
Absolutely.
you go through some of these gardening pages, like Nikki and Anthony were talking about. These people are so committed, and you
To
can
doing
learn
it
so
all.
much from them in making microclimates out of your backyard.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, there's a guy in Phoenix, that Seamus O'Leary, that is committed to doing tropical fruit plants in Phoenix, Arizona. And he actually keeps a lot of these trees in boxes, so they're not even in the ground, because he'd rather have all these different varieties. So he's trying bananas, he's trying different strains of papaya and mangoes, and oh yeah,
It's quite
it's
successful.
hardcore. Yeah,
Wow. How does he keep it?
by keeping it moist and keeping it humid, and he's got all kinds of tricks up his sleeve.
So they're like enclosed in some sort of greenhouse box thing?
I think
or
they're all out, but seasonally he will do things, and he will, like, they will bring things in. That's why he keeps them in boxes. So he probably moves them around, and there's some things that he'll bring in for the winter.
That's pretty cool, though, to know that we can grow tropical food in a desert.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Who would have thunk it without chemicals?
Right.
So what else is going on at the Grow Your Own Festival?
We've got a main stage, and we're gonna host the premiere public performance of The Wizard of Youth live for kids. John Paul Uvier from Southern Cal.
Wizard of Youth.
The Wizard of Youth.
That sounds fun.
He's started some of his summer tours with some of the YMCA's and stuff, but we're going to have the first public premiere showing, and he'll go on at 10:30 in the morning. But he takes kids on a journey of how to be responsible and take a handle and steer their nutrition and health into a way that they're not necessarily getting out of school,
Right.
or maybe even getting at
At
home.
home. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're really excited to have him, and he'll be over in the Little Roots tent after with like a meet and greet, and he's got board games and stuff. So great tools for teachers and for homeschooling moms and
Little,
any parents.
what did you call it? The little tools?
Little Roots.
Little Roots.
Yeah, the Vegas
Little
Roots
That is
Community
adorable.
Garden has a Little Roots program.
Uh-huh.
And so we've named our Kid Zone tent the Little Roots in
That's
honor
awesome.
of those junior gardeners. The studio place is going to upcycle garments from Savers into like steampunk and Halloween costumes.
Oh, how rad.
So they're going to do a couple little parades on stage of doing these
Nice.
upcycled
I love it.
fashion show that they're going to make. We're going to have some junior gardeners from the school program, Anthony and Enrique's students coming on telling us about their experiences with their garden clubs.
Oh, they're actually going to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah. And Paige Overton is going to do her soulful songwriting soiree for us on stage. And we're really excited. We're going to have Zen Honeycutt, the founder of Moms Across America,
Ooh.
coming. So Zen
Wow.
Honeycutt, and also we're having Tammy Canal, the founder of the National March Against
Wow.
Monsanto.
Well,
That's
dope. I'm
fantastic.
excited now.
Yeah, this is a big deal.
Yeah,
This
that's
is,
huge.
This is about educate, empower, and enlighten people. So we've got a really incredible
I
lineup.
love it.
Peter Clark's going to play. Kaylee Foster's going to play. The Urban Seed Foundation's going to bring us up to speed on what their whole farm-to-table movement with their greenhouse work is going to be. And Lady Ryko and the Sin City Prophets are
Yeah,
going to
baby.
close the afternoon. So it's going to be a really epic
I'm
day out
excited
there.
for the whole day.
I heard Radiohead was going to be there. Is that true?
Or Green Day. We were trying to Green Day. No, not this year. Not this year.
Maybe
Eventually.
next year. Yeah, I mean, if 5,000 is
do you-
hopefully expected this year.
I like the whole idea of urban
It's a
gardening.
lot.
It really excites me. I've been watching a lot on it and just watching people just turn sidewalks into gardens and,
Yeah.
and just transforming whole communities like in Detroit and even in South Central Los Angeles. It's amazing what these people are doing.
Well, they're and they're
Absolutely.
they're essentially feeding the homeless in
Mhm.
some cities with community gardens and having these homeless folks actually come in and work the gardens for money and have an actual job doing that. Gardening within the city, and there's skyscrapers all around them, and here's this beautiful green patch in the middle.
Teach a man to fish.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. Or just have pride in your community. Walk by the same plot of land every day. It's just a broken down, empty lot. But then
Lot.
one day somebody starts towing it and
It's coming to life.
yeah, they turn it into a garden. You're like, oh man, I want to be in on this. Just
Mhm.
it just changes the face of an entire community. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, this Grow Your Own is turning into like the homesteading festival. 'Cause we've got the Minimal Market girls
Oh,
coming
cool.
down, and they're going to do a do-it-yourself booth
Awesome.
and show people how to do green, home cleaning
Cool.
products, how to make stuff
love
out of
it.
stuff you have at the house, and obviously bath and beauty stuff too. So
Yeah.
the Minimal Market's going to have this do-it-yourself booth. That's going to be really cool. And the other component that we have this year the incredible chef demos we're going to have. It's
Yeah.
really farm to table with Chef Myra from Pura Vida, Chef Donald from Veggie Nation, and they're getting ready to do their second location
Awesome.
out in Henderson, St.
yeah.
Rose,
yeah,
and
we just had a
Eastern.
conversation with
We're
them.
excited.
Yeah, so we're happy that we can steal him after they've opened their second location. Chef Johnny Church from Oriole, and he also is a Create a Change Now
Mhm.
chef in the schools. Shane Stewart, the raw mixologist, is going to do his gardens in a glass of how he
Nice.
goes into the schools and shows kids how they can make this great shake smoothie out of frozen fruit and vegetables.
Yay.
Chef Jovan is going to come and do some reggae type food for us. And Chef Paco of El Dorado Cantina is not sure what he's going to whip up for us.
I don't care. That guy cooks amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's good.
exactly.
Chef Emily Brubaker from Urban Seeds going to turn us on to something. Chef Keaty's going to come and do some raw food magic for us. And that cheese chick, that Chef Jody cheese chick, is going to do Ditchin' Dairy.
I've been meaning to tell you for a long time, by the way. So I forget that we had some festival at some place, I think off of Eastern, and I've been riding my motorcycle all day, and I went over there, and the only food to eat was your cheese, like a cheese plate and something to drink, and I was dying, and it was the most refreshing thing. I was so happy, and I didn't even want it. It was just the only thing that was there to eat. And at the time, I was like, at the time, I thought veganism was retarded. Like
Yeah.
that cheese, I couldn't believe
At Vegas Veg Fest last year?
No,
At
no,
the
this
club?
might have even been 2 years ago. We had a GMO table there, and it was over off of Eastern on some farm.
Oh, when you launched at the V Animal Sanctuary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's when I first launched.
Yeah, oh, it was delicious.
It's gotten better since then.
It just keeps getting better and better. But I'm really excited to do
Yeah.
a ditch and dairy demo and show people how they can make home yogurt
Awesome.
and cream for their coffees and tzatziki sauce.
What
Sour
exactly?
cream.
What's the trick? If you're not using dairy, how do you turn a? How is it nuts? Mostly?
It's soaked cashew milk. It's cashew milk.
Cashew.
It's cashew cream. It makes a thick cream, and it's how you flavor it. You add probiotics, like how you make home yogurt when you're using any kind of milk. So I'm really thrilled that
That's
that I'm
exciting.
going to turn people on how to make this at
That's
home.
dope.
And when they see how easy it is, they're just
And
it's
you're gonna
unbelievable.
give out taste samples, right?
I am.
People have to know that it does taste okay.
I
Did
am
great.
because I'm going to have my booth. So I'm
good
fully
stuff.
permitted, so I've got the blessing of the health
Cool.
department. I'm
Oh,
going to
congrats.
definitely do samples. Yeah, it's not easy.
Ask the man.
Yeah, it's not easy. So no, I'm really thrilled to be able to turn people onto that for the first time
That's
and
cool.
get this
Cool.
Demo out in the world.
They'll let us change the world as long as we pay them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, your cheese was the first vegan cheese I'd ever had.
Oh really?
Hmm. And
oh,
it,
you started at the top.
I did, because it wasn't what I expected.
Because there's some others out there.
I didn't
that
expect to taste cheese, and I
There-
did.
You did.
I
That's
did.
awesome.
It was weird.
Nice.
Yeah, it even felt like cheese.
Cool.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's traditionally cultured
Yeah.
cashew milk.
Cool.
It's alchemy. It's just alchemy.
Yeah, I always pictured like beakers and.
Little flames and stuff.
Shh.
So yeah, it's going to be an epic day out there, and Nicole's going to have her Chloe's Fairy Cottage out there, and she's going to round up the Little Roots area,
Awesome.
and she's bringing a bug guy. Tell them about some stuff going on at Little Roots.
I met this guy at an event at Springs Preserve, and he was super awkward. He looks like a 6-foot-tall, redheaded, big bearded Amish, like Boy Scout. Absolutely adorable. And I said hello to him, and he just kind of looked at me funny.
Gigantic Amish Boy Scout. I'm
He's
sorry.
adorable. He is. He's adorable. But he's autistic, and so he's very socially awkward. So once he was ready to talk to me, he sat there and talked to me. He had a book. It was like a presentation about bats. He told me everything I never knew I needed to know about bats. And so I added him on Facebook, and then it turns out that he likes bugs too. And Chloe and I are into bugs. And so we passed these like crazy bug posts back and forth on Facebook. So there was some discussion about having a bug person at our booth, and so God, this guy's got to be here. He's not even living here right now. His mom is flying him back so we can have him. Yeah, and he's into it. He's texting me every couple days. So when can we talk about this? What are we going to do? I mean, he's so into it. So what we're going to do is have he and Chloe present about local bugs that live in our gardens and talk about the beneficial bugs and the bugs you don't want in your gardens. And
Cool.
he insists he's got to throw bats in there.
Okay.
And we're going to let him.
We have bats here. So
We have
that
bats
makes
here,
sense.
and they're good for your garden too. So they have a purpose in our garden. So I'm really excited about him.
That's neat.
Rhonda Kilo, she has Project Angel Faces, and she's got a really awesome hands-on project where they take seeds out of the husks and plant things, and so it's a whole interactive thing. And her organization, if you have a beautiful citrus tree in your backyard and you can't handle all the fruit on it, you give her a call. She'll come and harvest it and redistribute it into our community where it's needed. I'm really excited about that. And we just talked to another lady. She's got a repurposed school bus that's a gymnasium inside.
What?
Yeah, really cool. I'm forgetting things. Where's your list?
Wizard of Youth will be in there as well.
We're going to have yoga, a little bit of yoga, maybe some didgeridoo. I'm going to do a presentation about why you need fairies in your garden. So we'll do a little fairy garden
That's awesome.
demonstration. Get the kids excited about it, because if you have fairies in your garden, they help your garden grow better.
Sure.
So they're an important part of gardening too. And it's just a place where the little kids. There's going to do a slime demo, which doesn't really have anything to do with gardening, but we got to have some fun in there, and just all about the kids, little hands-on things for them to do and.
Interaction, yeah.
Yes.
They'll be able to plant stuff in that star planter. There's a star planter there. You'll be able to put transplants in there and stuff.
No, cool.
Do they get to take anything home from this festival?
Yeah, I'm gonna start starts. You got starts, right? We're doing starts. We've got the
400
Annie's
of them
gonna
right
do
now.
the rocks.
Oh
You
yeah,
got a ways to
painting the
go.
rocks.
There's 5,000 people coming.
Yeah. I don't think that's enough.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a place kids can go make garden markers, paint some rocks
Oh,
into
okay.
ladybugs
Cool.
and stuff, and they
Cute.
can make garden markers. We're gonna have the scavenger scarecrow
Yeah,
booth where
take pictures with the scarecrow.
families can
Some selfies.
decorate. You're gonna build that armature, right? We'll talk about that.
Yes.
And then they'll be able to dress it and then take their family photo with the scarecrow.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
That is so rad.
Dude, this sounds like so much fun.
Yeah, and it'll be cool for the kids to also meet and greet with the kids from the studio lab to see how they design their costumes. So
Yeah,
the older
fun.
kids, and
That'll be fun.
I think we're gonna have some older farmer kids teaching younger, the juniors, some hands-on stuff.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Little Roots
Mighty.
area will also be where the school gardens that do participate with us. That's where their harvest will be
Okay.
also.
I can't wait for this.
And the
event.
Little Roots area will be right in the middle of the whole big round circle.
Okay.
So right in front of like the main stage.
In-
So if parents want to hang out, get a little music, let their kids hang out in the Little Roots station, and then there'll
Awesome.
be El Dorado Cantina is doing like the beer and wine cerveza place.
Perfect.
It's gonna be a really nice day. Really nice day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I'm super excited. Last year was so fun. I had no expectations really going in. I knew it was going to be fun and exciting because it's a festival. Those are always cool. And there was a stage with music, so that's fun. But learning stuff
Right.
and interacting with plants and people and dirt and all of it, it really did inspire me to really start looking more into gardening at home. And I think people that go there are going to get the same sensation that I got.
Cool. That's our hope.
Yeah.
Are those veteran garden people going to be there again?
I hope so.
Yeah, they were super rad.
Yeah.
Can
I'll tell them you said so.
Continuing to grow community. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
part of the
Love it.
mission. Yeah.
Well,
I like that.
is like the ultimate goal sustainability eventually, right? Where we can just get off
Self-sufficient.
just get
We-
off the whole corporate
Yeah.
tit that we're
Right.
on.
We don't need you.
and just do our own thing.
Yeah, it is. And health and
Right.
community, absolutely.
Mental clarity.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too many pros, no cons to it.
Yeah.
Actually, at least for us. Maybe for the man, not so much, but
You need to fall in line, that man.
he does. Oh, we're gonna force it, right? I mean, look what we've already done. It's amazing. Is there anything that people can do to help and be involved in this prior to? I mean, is there any volunteer opportunities that you'd like to throw out there for people?
Oh, yeah,
Who might be
absolutely.
interested?
Absolutely.
Where can we find you and get information on all of this?
Well, if they go to growyourownfestival.com, there is a volunteer form online. They can fill
Okay.
that out. We also are partnering with the Girl Scouts of Southern Nevada. We're in their program book.
Oh,
That's just coming out into the hands of the
That is
leaders.
that is huge.
that's
Right.
great.
Well, I mean, they're always looking for stuff to do, and
Yeah.
they want to
Mhm.
earn badges or
Yeah, totally.
patches. And
Right.
There's an easy
hi,
one.
come learn how to garden at the same
Yeah,
time and
yeah.
grow some of your own food. That would be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, go to the website. You can definitely grab a volunteer form and get involved. And we're going to be out there for most of the week before.
GrowYourOwnFestival.com.
Grow your,
Yeah, GrowYourOwnFestival.com.
And some of the other things you could do is add yourself to our Facebook community and interact
Mhm.
with our community, ask questions.
Totally.
Or join some of the gardening clubs that are on Facebook. The library does a lot of workshops. Do like what you mentioned, get with your neighbors and grow some food. Like,
Yeah.
You grow tomatoes, you got the squash,
And then share. When
Share.
the harvest comes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have a harvest party.
Have
Sounds fun.
real Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Who's gonna make the soap?
Minimal market. No, Sam.
Sam can make the soap.
I'll make the soap.
Sam makes soap. Yeah, the Facebook page has an event page for the festival. So
Okay.
you
Perfect.
can, if you RSVP to that, you can invite your friends and family.
We'll post
Right
it up.
from
We'll
there.
post it up on Hemp Podcast page too,
Mhm.
so
Awesome.
And
people can find
happyasmarket.com.
it. And
Nice.
awesome, everybody. This is the Grow Your Own Festival. It is on Saturday, October 7th, from 10 to 4. The address is 715 North Tonapah Drive. It's at the Vegas Roots Garden.
Make sure you get that north part.
North.
Otherwise you have to the hospital.
Oh,
You don't want to go to the hospital.
715 North.
Oh, you want to go to
Tonopah.
Benion's house, not the hospital.
It's about like 2 miles north of the World Market Center, off of Bonanza and Tonopah.
Right.
It's
Easy peasy.
little jewel in the middle of this urban
It
jungle.
is incredible too when you see it, because you're just like, oh my god, I didn't even know this was here.
What?
Right.
And
It's hiding.
the thing about Vegas Roots is if you don't have a green thumb and you're really kind of into it, but you're not that into it, you can get a membership plot right there. Yeah, at Vegas Roots Community Garden. They also do CSAs, Community Supported Agriculture, where you can sign up and then just get fresh, organic vegetables and fruits right from the garden.
Wow.
They have you pick stuff. You pick plots where you can just, pick according to the season of what they have available. So it's a great resource for the community as well.
Well, especially for people who don't have yards, people who are living in
Right.
apartments and stuff. If
Yeah,
you want
totally.
to grow a garden,
Exactly.
that's where you go, people.
Right.
Oh, we're having a workshop
Yeah.
on that called container gardening.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you can do it. Well, okay.
Be surprised you guys see that guy doing microgreens out of his apartment and like selling like 50 restaurants in his town.
No,
Yeah,
I've
it's
crazy.
I know that it's very possible. If you have a table, you could grow thousands of microgreens, and that's awesome.
He's making a living growing microgreens in his apartment.
And selling to local restaurants.
Local
And
restaurants.
apparently,
That's awesome.
apparently, like it grows really fast. And
Yeah.
it takes like,
Days, right? Like fast, isn't it?
I don't know.
That's
I
super
thought it
fast.
was.
Yeah, it's like
I've-
it's a week
He
or
had
2
a
weeks.
rotation.
Yeah, I've done
Oh.
microgreens for like
Maybe I'm wrong.
you're eating them in like 3-4 days
Yeah.
actually.
Sprouts.
Wow.
Yeah, because
And-
you're just plucking it as soon as it comes up. It's a microgreen, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right, and the nutrients in
Super,
sprouted
super.
food, yeah,
It's through the roof, right?
Yeah, it's just multiplied.
The sprouts are incredible too, because they don't look like what they're gonna taste like. They look like little greens, but they taste exactly with what the vegetable is.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
it's a carrot sprout, it'll taste like a carrot. It's the weirdest thing. It doesn't look like a carrot. How is
Nope.
that possible?
DNA.
That darn Mother Nature.
I know,
Yeah.
right? She's a sneaky one.
Well, cool.
Is there anything else you guys want to add?
You could go to growyourownfestival.com and reserve your free tickets.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
And it's free.
And it's free.
It's free. What do you got to lose?
And it's free.
Gain, only to
Lots
gain.
of gaming.
All gains, bro.
Thank you guys so much for being on our show, and
Yeah, thank you.
can't wait.
No problem.
We might actually
Thank
have
you
a
guys.
booth at the festival, so
I hope so.
that'll be
Yes,
really
please.
cool. Yeah.
Well,
We want you there.
Yeah, cool.
Yes.
for
We
having
are
us.
so totally there.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you
us here
guys
today.
so much. And Jody, thank you for creating this. It's amazing, and I'm just glad it's here, man. I'm so happy it exists.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Takes more than me.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Thank you
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
cheers.